All right, as you can see, I opened up the box here, and I'll zoom into it a little bit. As you can see, that this is just a simple. I just call it the Yost Box fuel injector adjuster, and what you can do is as you can see, you can set each cylinder. You can adjust the richness and the leanness for each cylinder. You can adjust the duration of the ejectors, and it's really just a real good tool that I use, and it's really just a simple setup to connect this to a factory wiring harness. So if you ever get one of these, or lucky enough to get one of these boxes, I'll show you where it's plugs in on a factory harness. This is your rectifier, and this is the subframe of a factory Hayabusa. If you get along your wiring harness from that rectifier, you'll come down that factory wiring harness. So here's the rectifier, and follow along and get on the factory wiring harness. And along on that harness, you're going to come to a clip, this plug-in clip. Well, this simple plug-in clip has a little cover on it, and if you remove that little cover, let me get that little cover off of there. As you can see, I removed that little cover. You see this factory plug-in on this harness. If you look at the fuel injection box here, you'll see I have this little plug-in also there. Well, what you simply do is you just simply take that plug-in, and you take that and you plug it into that factory harness there. And now your fuel ejector box is plugged in. And like I say, if you ever lucky enough to get one of these, I don't know if they still make them or not, but that's as simple as it is. And now I can simply turn on the ignition key on the motorcycle, let it cycle, let the fuel pump cycle, fully cycle, and an indicator light on the ejector box will come on. And from that point on, I can make accurate, by the numbers, fuel injector adjustments on my bike right there at the racetrack. And I'll give you an understanding of how that's very helpful to me. At the racetrack, if you've ever heard of, say, a logbook, Jigs makes these logbooks, and actually that's exactly what I use. I think I might have one in the shop. Yes, I do. I do have some here. Jigs actually make these logbooks, and in these logbooks you can go in and you can log in each run that you make with your motorcycle. So what I do is with also the use of a weather station, to give you an example, say it's Saturday morning and it's 62 degrees and it's 9:30, and you're getting ready to make your first say test pass of the day. So I'm talking about a race day when we're bracket racing. I'm getting ready to make my first test pass. It's 62 degrees Saturday morning. Well, what I've done over the years is I have went and logged down in my logbook race days with that temperature. And then I use the weather station to find out what is the barometric pressure, the humidity, how many water particles are in the air. Well, I'll then go to my logbook and I'll look for a run that I may have ran a year ago. And if it matches up to the air quality, the temperature of the run that I'm going to run on this race day, this Saturday morning, well, if that run is comparable, I also use that same fuel injection download. So in my book, I have my run, what the ET was, what the mile an hour, what the eighth was, what the quarter, what my 60 foot was. But I also have added there all my parameters that the weather station gave to me that day, as far as the barometric pressure, how much water grains was in the air, humidity. And if I find a run that's close, then I'll download that into my motorcycle and I'll use that run for that particular day. And that's why I really like my fuel injection box instead of a power commander. There's no way I can find out and adjust to those exact parameters with a power commander. But with my Yost Box, with my Yost Box, I can do that just by looking back in my log books. And like I say, how detailed this Yost Box is, if you look at it here, I'll get close again. You see that you can set those parameters, excuse me, especially in your rich and lean. Once I set it, I'll write down those numbers. I'll make the run and download it into my logbook, and then I can come back and use it as at a later date if I have a race day. Excuse me, that is basically showing the same temperature, same weather. So I think anyone with racing background understand what I just said. So long story short, as you can see, getting back, I don't have a whole lot of electrical items in this on this motorcycle, which saved a lot of the cost, because the main function was to be able to build this bike and stay under the budget of $10,000. And like I say, the only other electrical item that I do have on here is now that you'll be able to see it pretty good with the tailpiece off, I do have my controller box, and it's located up under the bike, behind my under my tailpiece section there. So that's the other electrical component that I have. Other than that, those simple items I don't have. I actually do have what they call a multi-stage lockup clutch that I use. That's another item that is going to cost you upwards of at least $1,000. But once you understand one and you get one and you set it up and you get the springs and the arms and everything to come in where you need it to come in, and you get it to transfer, the clutch to transfer on the nitrous and everything. Once you get all those parameters together, you really like using one of these types of clutches. So mine works really well. So and once again, as far as the motor, basically the engine and I showed it earlier when I was videoing here, but I'll raise up the tank so people really can see it. And let me get over here and I'll find me get me a tank rod, and I'll lift this tank up here. Let me get this tank lifted up here. Now that I've got that tank lifted up there, I want people to really see that I am definitely using. If anyone knows the fuel pumps on, this is not one of those aftermarket fuel pumps with the fuel regulator. I'll show you one of those also. I do have one. But the fact is basically this is still just a stock motor. And if it was anything bigger than stock, I probably would have to use an aftermarket. But the way I can prove that I'm basically running this motor stock and this motor's definitely not making a whole lot of humongous horsepower, there's definitely my stock fuel pump. That is a stock 99 to 2000 Suzuki Hayabusa, and it's an external fuel pump. That's a fuel pump. That's the way they came, stock, in 99 and 2000. That's the way the pump actually set in the motorcycle, and as you can see, that's what I'm using. And when we get to the racetrack and I actually start it, I'll be ready to go down the racetrack, and you're gonna actually be able to see. I'm gonna start it, and we'll raise up the tank so you can see the fuel pump to see that I didn't change anything, and you'll see this bike go down the track with this stock equipment on it. So that is like I say, a stock fuel pump. This bike is basically, we did build the chassis. Once again, I'll say the chassis is 72 inches. And we actually had built it out that length, thinking that we were going to use a big horsepower motor, which I do have the motor done. I do have a 1430 that we can install in it, but to save money and really honestly be at under that $10,000 mark, that is basically a stock motor. And of course I put 2 intake cams. I exchanged that exhaust cam and put another intake cam in it, and then degreed them in, and a long story short, got me a few more horsepower out of the motor, and put some heavier valve springs in, and basically that was it on the motor. We didn't do anything else to the motor. We threw it in there, stock motor, and except with that basic other stock intake cam on the exhaust side, and changed some gearing. I'm running a 1642 gearing on it, from the stock of 1740. So I changed the gearing to 1642, and basically that's about it. I'll probably here's some, well, this will keep this down. If you look, some people are going to say, oh, he's got those high dollar wheels on them, and they'll say, oh, they're Machinis, or those are those carbon fiber lightweight wheels, and they say that I'm not being truthful. But honestly, I own CNC Evolution, so I'll tell you what those wheels are. These wheels are basically stock BMW 1000RR wheels. I got these wheels off of a salvage BMW 1000RR, and I just machined my own bushings. The axle circumference is the same as a Busa. You just have to, I had to machine my own bushings to get the wheels to work, and machine a brake stay for the rear brake caliper and that type of thing. But these are not the $5,000 wheels or, you know, any of that expensive stuff. They were just, I got them off of a salvage wreck bike. It just happened to be a BMW 1000RR, and I thought they would look good on the bike, and they turned out they look actually pretty good on the motorcycle. So Friday, the racetrack here runs a program they call Midnight Madness. So we're going to take it out there and see if we can't get a good pass on it. And I'm going to tune the bike right there, and you'll get to see me tune it. I'll put a map in it for what the weather and the weather conditions is. And then we're going to get it up on the starting line and see if we can't get the thing to go down the track. So until then, I will see you all later.